Well, hello, and welcome, everyone. Welcome. It's been a minute since I last seen you guys. How are you? How are you? I hope you guys have had a wonderful Monday so far. As you can tell by the title of this video, we got some things to get into today. Um, So there's just a couple of things that I want to address um, outside of the main topic that we're going to be discussing tonight, and that is the update to the channel. Um, Somewhere down the line, I'm going to start utilizing a panel of guests that I feel are going to be able to express their opinion, and we'll be able to do all of that in due time. But for right now, it's just going to be me and my opinions. And if you have any other opinions, you can leave them down in the chat. Now, I know I said that tonight I would go live at 10, but I cannot do 10 o'clock because I have to be in bed by that time so that I can get up early in the morning and do what I have to do. Now, on with the business at hand. Whitehead has been in the news for a number of crimes allegedly that he has been indicted for. Um, he also went on the way up with Angela Yee at the 101 Power. I think that's the name of it. And the thing that I want to take mention here, and the thing that I've always taken issue with Whitehead on, is his gift. We're gonna get to that in a moment, but now let me go ahead and show you all my face. Actually, you know what? No, let me not. uh we have a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get on right on into it. Starting with the Whitehead Saga. I'm going to go ahead and add where is it? Just in case. My fair use doctrine. Okay. As you all can tell, that this is all of Whitehead's main story, and it ain't nothing good. Now, I covered Whitehead over the summer of 2022, so you guys can go and check out those videos that I did of Whitehead when I first initially started hearing of him. Now the man, I think, has become a loose cannon. Mm. Mm-hmm. In my humble opinion, now I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist, and I do not have the power to diagnose him with such. But given the recent indictments, given the fact that this man does not have an honest bone in his body to speak up, given the fact that he is a convicted felon. Let me see if I can zoom this in. Uh, Giving all of that, okay, he is still out here trying to pretend as if he had some sort of power or authority in the church. And the problem here is the title, his first title, Bishop Whitehead. Okay, Bishop Whitehead. Okay, that's the problem that I take issue with. Is the title. I would say pastor is fine. Pastor Lamar Whitehead is okay. But to put yourself as a bishop when you yourself don't even know what that role means, you just assume that it has some type of authority and some type of power that you think you can grab a hold of and make it your own without really realizing the spiritual gift that comes with such a title such as that. Okay? Lamar Whitehead. Okay? He's not famous. In fact, he's rather infamous. He's not somebody that I would trust within a given mile away from me. Now, I want to dive a little deeper into the gift because I want to shout out Heart of Inspiration for this great opportunity that I had on her panel a couple of nights ago when she was live. Um, she'd mentioned something that I thought that was very powerful. And she said that to be in the presence of the great I am is the journey. It can sometimes be a very lonely journey, but you are never alone. It feels like it, but you are never alone. Now, what I want to say to that is Mr. Whitehead is definitely alone. And I said something in that very same live with Heart of Inspiration that we are kings and queens. Let me see if I can look up that verse that says Psalm. Let me see. I'm gonna remove this for now. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna put this back on the screen for y'all. And let's see. I want y'all to tell me if y'all can see this. I want to make this a little easier for you guys to be able to see. This is the verse, Psalms 82, verses 5 through 8. This is a verse that myself and Heart and Inspiration went over the other night when I was on her panel. It says here, they have neither knowledge nor understanding. They walk about in darkness. All of the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, ye are God, sons of the Most High, all of you. Nevertheless, like men you shall die and fall like any prince. Rise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all the nations. Now, this verse, at the time that, now this particular psalm, at the time that it was written, we were still the early Judaism, the part of history that's not really known, is this particular verse is speaking to a pantheon of other gods that we now know as angels. However, when we go to a higher sense of ourselves, and this is kind of where what I'm going to be getting at here in a moment, because I want you all to understand that metaphysically speaking, we are all gods and goddesses, and we, as it relates to the Whitehead Saga, he does not yet understand what it means to be a king watching over the kingdom and not getting down in the dirt. And I want to thank Heart of Inspiration for opening my eyes to seeing that this particular verse is speaking directly to those of us that have the spiritual gifts. I also want to add to what I'm going to get ready to say is it is easy to become corrupted by those gifts. And it is easy to lose your way with your spiritual gift. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is easy to use your gifts for nefarious means rather than for the greater good. And that's what Bishop Lamar Whitehead has been doing. He has not allowed himself to really be patient and to really allow the work of the Creator to really do the work that needs to be done. And it also speaks to some form of his psyche, some trauma induced issues that he has had in his life from the time that he was about 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And it feels a particular void that he has yet to get over. There is a particular trauma that is associated with why he is the way that he is today. Now, as a king in this kingdom, that is the talk with William Morris, I am not to get into the gutter and stay in the gutter with those who are not at the level that I am at. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? As a king, I am not made to rule. I am to serve those who may not be able to serve themselves. A king or queen is not a ruler. They are a servant. They are not lower than God, but they are not equal to God either. Okay, so when we add those royal titles in front of our name, oftentimes we think we know what it means, when in actuality, we really don't know what it means. It's a burden that is rest upon those of our shoulders that have been called into the earth to be able to serve. And Lamar, it seems to me, cannot seem to separate his spiritual self from his physical self. Everything is convoluted and he has no direction, no structure that could guide him in the right way. And he won't listen. You can tell that by his own lawyer. He will not listen. So I think we need to do a deep dive into what it means to be a bishop. What is a bishop? What do they do? I'm going to take this off the screen for a second and I'm going to add it back in. Okay. So this is what are bishops responsible for? Bishops have three main responsibilities, and this is on the Catholic Australia website. To teach, a bishop is the principal teacher in his diocese and has a responsibility to preach the word of God to his people. He must ensure that those delegated to teach in his name, namely priests, teachers, catechists, and others, teach the truth. To govern, listen well. This is the most important thing that that this so-called Bishop Lamar Whitehead has forgotten what he needs to do in his journey. To govern, this refers to meeting the needs of the local community, material, social, personal, and spiritual, as well as ensuring that church laws are observed. This is according to the Catholic Australia website. He is ultimately responsible for training and supplying priests preparators for the finances of the diocese and for all church property. A bishop has the power to make church laws, be a judge in church matters, and to enforce observance of these laws. Okay, this is a Catholic, this is according to Catholic teachings. Lord, I can't speak to save my life. But if you flip over, you will see that there is another particular bishop that you see in most Black churches. Lamar does not have the reach necessary to call himself a bishop. Because when you have bishops, generally there are deacons, there are pastors, there are other people that are in the administration of your church. He does not have that. And furthermore, this is only within the confines of the church. Now, I want to make something perfectly clear. Just because you call yourself a bishop, Lamar, that does not necessarily mean you are a bishop. And just because you have heard other people call you a bishop, you are not a bishop in the spirit. That is a title that you have given unto yourself for egotistical purpose. In other words, this is a selfish, this is a pride thing for you. You want to be known as the bishop. Remember when I said the king? Oh, those of us that are kings, we sometimes get lost in the weeds of people like Bishop Lamar Whitehead because we think we can fix somebody like a Bishop Lamar Whitehead. And I'm using the title bishop loosely here. It's important that you understand when you have a spiritual gift and you use it for nefarious purposes, as Lamar Whitehead has done, you can corrupt those spiritual gifts. And it can be taken away from you. And I don't think Lamar Whitehead has learned his lesson at all. I think he has not done the work that is required, the work that is necessary to really heal his inner child, to really heal his inner trauma. And right now, he is acting on those impulses from that inner trauma within him, in my humble opinion. And I want to make sure that we understand that Lamar Whitehead is not an actual bishop. That is a title that he has given to himself. But he doesn't fully understand what that title means. It is similar to the role of being a king and the kingdom. You cannot call yourself a king unless you understand what that role means. In the same way, you cannot call yourself a god or a goddess unless you are understanding what that role means. It is absolutely critical that you understand that at some point this is a very lonely journey. But if you can surround yourself with some few good people that is going to be willing to be there for you and to be of your and to be the backbone, but not only to be your backbone, not just to be your ride or die, but to be somebody that's going to also be there to call you out and lift you up, but at the same time, tell you about yourself so that you can continue to improve. That is what it means to be a spiritual leader. It means taking in the advice of others when it is warranted. And if you cannot do that, then you have no business calling yourself a pastor, a bishop, a prophetess, or a prophet. You have no business calling yourself any of those titles. And if you cannot even understand the purpose through which that title offers, you have no business calling yourself the bishop. Now, I will not get into the criminality or the indictments or anything like that. All of that to speak to the point that this man does not know what he is doing and that he is clearly unaware of the spiritual realities of those said gifts. And that using his spiritual gift for nefarious purposes as he has been, according to court documents, it's enough to call into question why is he even calling himself a pastor or a bishop. Now I can have compassion, but my compassion should not be used for weaknesses. I can understand something without actually agreeing with it. Mhm. So we have we have to call people like this out, family. And so as a king, what is my role in all of this as a king to his kingdom on this particular channel? Think of this channel as the kingdom, not just another YouTube channel, but as the spiritual kingdom of William Morris. And I am not just a king. I'm not going to infer myself as the king. That's not what I do. But you cannot have a kingdom without a king sitting on the throne. Okay? So I want people to really understand that when you're looking at a king, I want to actually ask you a question. When you see a king of the British monarchy, what do you see? Or a king or a queen or a princess or whatever. What do you see? Do you see them ruling with an iron fist? Do you see them passing laws and legislation, indulging themselves without a care in the world for their subject? What is it that you see when you see a king or a queen in the monarchy of Great Britain? And real quick, guys, my birthday is this Friday, and I will be out of town. That's my cash app, the Willie Morris. Go and cash at me. And if you would like, you can send me an email with your suggestion of what I should talk about next at this particular email here. And that email will go directly into my inbox. If you have anything that you would like to talk to me in terms of other subjects, I'll be more than happy to address them. Okay? So when we talk about kingdoms, what are we referring to? When we talk about being a king, what is that king supposed to do? See, we have a lot of people that are asleep right now because they are not really awakening. They have not woken up to the possibility of certain ideas that, according to tradition, may be seen to be blasphemy. But in a metaphysical sense, in a spiritual sense, this can be interpreted as such, right? The king does not make laws, he watches over his people. He serves alongside his people. He aids his people, or if you are a queen, her people, and whatever they need assistance with. Mhm. So I want Black people to really get used to the idea, and as well as anyone else, as well as anyone else that's listening under the sound of my voice right now, I want you to get used to this idea that you might not know as much as you do. But I especially want Bishop Whitehead. He's not even a real bishop, so why am I referring to him as that? I want Lamar to get some help, to go to therapy, to figure out what is causing these irregularities within himself that causes him to act out in the way that he's been acting out and has not learned his lesson from the time that he was in prison. Hmm? All right, y'all. That is it for this commentary. I know it's cut short, but I really have to get to bed. I have a event I have to get to tomorrow. But I did mention that I have some updates to the channel, and I did mention a little bit about that earlier before we got started. But I wanted to go a little bit more in depth into that. I am looking for moderators. I am also looking for a group of people that can make suggestions to me on certain topics that I should cover the next time I go live, because I'm not on here as much. You see what I'm saying? All right, guys. I hope to see you guys next time, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye bye.